Only the strong need apply. Crankzilla is back, and it's mad. Steeper, more technical, longer, and more fun than ever. The EWS descends upon Crankworx Whistler. The racers are uploading. Stage 5 is about to kick off. It's the Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized, and all the racing starts right now.
This is what it's all about. The place to be, Crankworx World Tour. Here we go.
Several dimensions are shaping victories.
Oh, so perfect. This is ridiculous.
The best mountain bike riders on Earth.
Check the time here. Can he keep it up? He enters the final straightaway. And he crosses the inside circle. He does. Oh, just barely too short.
One queen and one king will claim the title of best all-around mountain biker on the planet.
It all started 14 years ago right here at the epicenter of mountain biking. Welcome to Whistler Ground Zero for Crankworx. The Crankworx World Tour stop number 4 in round 7 of your EWS. This is your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. And I'm joined here in the booth, our specialist when it comes to Enduro, Tristan Merrick. Tristan, this is the big one.
This is it. It's been an extremely long year. It's been the Enduro Wet Series, but today it's dry out. They've had a little bit of rain. 57 kilometers of unique trail awaits our riders here in Whistler, and almost 1,400 meters of climbing. I'd say almost double, triple that in descending, so it is a massive day for all our guys and gals out there.
Well, where are we in the world? We're in beautiful Whistler. We were talking about it earlier. This is the place to be, the only place you want to be when it comes to mountain biking, right there in this little slice of awesomeness we call Whistler.
Well, as you can see here, home of the Whistler Mountain Bike Park. We got 3 lifts, 97 trails. I've called this place home for 13 plus years. I've ridden all of them, and they are amazing. And of course, over 300 trails in the immediate area. Of course, though, they're racing a variety of those here today. We got 5 different stages. Of course, we're breaking them down all day long of each and every trail that they're out on today.
Well, when you talk about 5 stages, it makes it almost sound easy, but this is not easy. This is one that it's not to be treated lightly.
No, not at all. I mean, stage 1 alone is almost longer than a collective race at some of the earlier previous EWS rounds this year. So, I mean, to put that in perspective, one of the shortest races, 24 minutes. First stage today, almost the same amount of that time. And they still got 4 more stages they got to tackle.
So you can't win it on stage number 1, but you could sure lose it on stage number 1.
You can definitely lose it on stage 1. And, you know, I wish the racers all the best out there today. But something tells me some people's days are going to be ending prematurely.
Well, 4 stages in the book so far, and your 5th and final stage coming up. And let's take a look at the results thus far.
Well, as you can see right now, this is our overall after 4 stages. And look at that, a whopping 54 seconds, Brad. Cecile Ravenel, undefeated through 4 stages here today. We'll have to wait and see. And then, of course, our men, what do we got right now? We are still looking like we're waiting for a few more people to come in. Jesse Melamed up top there. I'm looking for a name, Sam Hill. I know he was floating around earlier on. So stage 4, as far as I know, almost just finishing. So we have to wait for a few more to come down.
Okay, so we've taken a look at that, but let's take a look at some of the riders that we need to be looking out for today, because there is a whole slew of them. And let's talk about Adrian Daly.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, he is the under-21 champion from last year. A unique style. He is under the tutelage of Nico Bulio, one of the greatest downhill racers of all time, and he is serving notice all season long here. And he's been a great rider in the wet. It's his first dry race. We're going to have to see if it pans out for him.
Well, he's got a few number 1s under his belt thus far. Richie Rude, let's talk about that man right now.
Well, I mean, 2-time defending champion. His season's been off the rails, though. Hasn't been as successful as you would have hoped. But here today, he may be able to get a few stages under his belt and get some confidence back. It just hasn't really panned out for him. Still a young kid, still lots of years to come.
Well, he had 3 good finishes, but then 3 not so good finishes. But let's talk about Sam Hill now.
it feels weird saying this, but it's his rookie season. He's done a few EWSs in the past, but this is his first full tour. He is leading the overall right now at the Enduro World Series. And this guy, I don't even need to say anything about his downhill stats because we all know what he's been doing. We all know what he's capable of. And he just had a win at the last round in Aspen.
You know, a fourth, a third, a fifth, a second, a sixth, and a first. That's not even a line right there that he took right there.
No, you talk about that line. He did that in 2006 in a Norba downhill race. He got jammed up in that corner. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to go inside on that. So Sam Hill, he's been on a tear all along, and he's got this thing. They're called flat pedals. I feel like they may come back into fashion. They were in fashion. They're out of fashion. But you know what? It's working for him because run what you brung. The fastest bike is the one that's underneath you.
Well, and you look at, like you said, what he's done. Sam Hill in his full rookie season here on EWS, he's absolutely crushing it. He's crushing it on flats. Was that a surprise for you at first?
I don't think so in that sense. What surprises me is that him and Adrian Daly, there's only 20 points separating them between first and second throughout an entire season. Like you said, 7 rounds in. This is the 7th round. There's one more after it. So we're getting down to the end of the season there. So for them, there's a lot at stake. It's not just like, you know what, I got a couple more races. If I lose 20 points this round, it's all good. It's all going to come down here today to see what happens going into that final round. And you know what? I think Sam, he's got all that. He's got so much wisdom. He's got so much experience. He knows what he's doing. But Adrian Daly, opposite end of the spectrum, doesn't have age, doesn't have wisdom, but he seems to be making it work this year.
How do you prepare for that? All right, 4 stages have been done, and the 5th stage is what we're talking about here. And we had a chance to send Rick McLaughlin out from EWS and have him tackle stage number 5. Take a look at this. This is Rick from EWS.
Oh, what's this? Bit of milk short? Oh, we are in Canada, I suppose. Oh, that was steeper than anticipated. Oh, I tell you what, this is good. It's so slick. You try and brake at all on those rocks and you can just feel your wheels starting to lock slightly. Oh, hello. Back in the bike park berms. This is where the bigger riders can really just use that speed to carry across all the holes, all the gaps. There's the archetypal Whistler Groms sending it. Still going on. Here we are. The main lift, Whistler Village. By the time the racers get here, they will have done an incredible 7.5 hours.
I mean, you think about it, and you think about that being stage 5, Tristan. The guys have already done 4 stages, and that is what you end with?
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole lot to tackle. And, of course, you can see there, Rick pauses at the top of drop-in clinic. I mean, that's not something regularly that he rides throughout the world. It's a regular thing in the bike park. You can see he kind of pauses like, am I on an enduro stage, or what am I doing here? Because it feels like I should be dropping into Rampage on this one.
Well, I'll tell you what, Rick is doing some solid stuff out there. And also, speaking of solid stuff, we haven't checked in with her yet. Let's check in with Hannah Bernard with the men's rider report. Hannah?
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Well, there has been a ton of tight battles forming out of this round on the EWS here today. We have Melamed and Hill, but the one I want to talk about right now is Adrian Daly and Greg Callahan. Now, obviously, Adrian Daly is sitting in 2nd in the overall points rate on the EWS. Greg is sitting in 3rd, but today they have been neck and neck all day long. Coming into stage number 2, there was just a second between these two guys in the 12th and 13th spot overall. Now, coming out of the 3rd stage, there was just 0.2 of a second between these two guys. They are neck and neck all race long. Now, if Greg can pull out a win here today, he could jump over Adrian Daly in that overall points race. So something definitely to keep your eye on as we go into stage number 5.
Well, thank you so much, Hannah. Greg Callahan, we'll see what he can do. Adrian Daly, Sam Hill, those are our top 3 on the EWS. And we are joined up here in the booth for General Manager of Crankworx, Darren Kennard, with us. And Darren, good to have you here on the show with us today.
Thank you, Brad. It's amazing to be here.
So now, give us a little insight, sir, on the choices made for what runs these guys are going to be taking out here and how you guys put this thing together for the Enduro.
Yeah, so every year we want to put the challenge of the racing in the stages. But it's been a few years since we had the old Crankzilla course back in 2014. There was, stage 4 Howler. There's been long rumors of using stage 4. This year we thought now's the year to do it. Ride Don't Slide got a big overhaul last fall. We had a chance to ride it. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, long piece of trail. And we wanted to put that in the race this year as well. So.
What I want to know, stage 2.
Stage 2.
Stage 2, you throw the curveball to everybody out there. And it's been interesting listening to the riders all week as they practice it. I've ridden that trail many, many times. It's definitely a good racing stage. It's just so different from what they're used to seeing. Those guys are looking for maximum efficiency as fast as they can go. What made you decide to throw that in there?
It's a really good story. So Jimmy McIntosh and I, we put the course together this year. We went out for a ride one Sunday, probably 2 months ago. And we weren't really sure if we wanted to put it in the race, but near the bottom of the course, we ran into Dan Raymond, one of the head trail builders from Orca. And Dan kind of looked at us funny and was like, "Are you guys thinking what I think you're thinking?"
What are you doing?
I was like, "Oh, Dan, it's okay."
Yeah.
But it's Dan's trail. He built an amazing trail. I called him a few days later and said, "You know what? Jimmy and I rode it. We really enjoyed it. We think we'd be making an amazing trail." And you know what? He was like, "You know what? I was wondering when the day was going to come, but you were going to ask me." And he goes, "I feel the trail is ready for the race now." And we're really, really blessed to have Dan's been out helping us all week, get the trails prepared, getting things ready to go, filling in some holes. And we're just super stoked to have been able to use this trail for stage 2.
And like you said, it's such a unique thing. And I think the one thing that I like is you brought back a stage that I raced previously when I did an EWS, which is Billy Epic. We've shortened it up a little bit. What made you, is it just because it's an iconic track and it's so rough and raw and it's so challenging for our riders?
Yeah, it's a great race stage for an Enduro World Series. It's got that sweet chute in the middle or near the end of it, but we kind of took a different line on it this year. They had that reroute. But yeah, it fit really well with the flow of the course and where the race went this year. So it just made sense to bring that back and mix it up a little bit.
Well, okay, so I got a question regarding EWS and, of course, the partnership with EWS and Crankworx. The first stop on the EWS Tour, round 1, that was in Rotorua. How important is it to have EWS as part of Crankworx with our Enduro?
Yeah, I mean, it just brings more world-class athletes to the Crankworx Festival. And so we're truly blessed to have the partnership with the Enduro World Series and working with Fred, Enrico, and Chris. Myself, I'm lucky enough to be on the board of directors with the EWS as well. But yeah, it just brings all these world-class athletes to a world-class festival, and yeah, it just adds to all the excitement and energy.
You want to see where some of the riders are right now?
I would love to.
Well, we could do that. We have Cork right now. We can show you the GPS tracker that is on our riders out there. And we'll take a look at Cork right here and show you exactly where the riders are. Tristan, can you kind of break this down for us?
Well, I think this is probably one of the coolest things that we have at our disposal nowadays is we can see where all the riders are. So you can actually see Sam Hill is out at the end of stage 4 right now, but our riders are working their way on that liaison over to stage number 5. So one, we're able to keep tabs on them. For fans at home, the cool thing is you can see exactly where they're at, but it gives you real-time data. So when they start dropping in on the stage, Brad, we know they drop in at 30-second intervals on most of the stages. You can actually see if somebody's getting caught, if somebody's having any struggles. And I mean, how important for you, Darren, is that as a tool for you guys to kind of figure out how do we make this race and how do we make such a great stop?
Yeah, it's been all day. I've been out at the various stages, and to know when guys are coming in, it lets the marshals know what's going on, lets the photographers and the film crews know when the racers are coming. So extremely valuable tool to be able to track the athletes.
And in the situation too, I mean, it's you got 5 stages. You can't cover it all. So having the GPS tracker, having Cork is a big help.
Oh yeah, it's been an exceptional tool for us to use, and it does help guide the filmers and photographers where to go and where to be. So yeah.
Well, Darren,
we say we can't cover it all, but we try.
We try to do that. We do the best job possible. Well, Darren Kennard, thank you so much for being here. I know you want to go watch the action.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I want to get down there and watch the action, and yeah, we'll see you in the finish crawl.
All right,
cheers, guys.
Darren Kennard right there, general manager of Crankworx, spending a little time with us. But it's time to check in with Hannah. She has a report on some of the women competing out here today. Hannah, what's going on? Talk to us.
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Well, I want to talk about a story that's been developing all series long, and it's been continuing to develop into this race today. Katie Winton having so much success this year on the EWS, out of the top 5, just 1 round out of this season. And today, the success is continuing. 3rd place on stage 1, 3rd place on stage 2, and she came out on social media and said how much she loves stage 3 and stage 4, so that success should continue as the day continues on. Now, she has been in Whistler the last couple weeks, quietly training up here, so that could be playing to her advantage today in this competition, but definitely a lady we should be on the lookout for here today.
Thank you so much, Hannah, on that one. And, you know, if you got Katie Winton, she's someone you might have picked on your Crankworx fantasy. You knew I'm going to go there. Let's talk about that for
you're
just
going
a moment.
there. You're going there. Well, yeah, you know, you have to get on there, fantasy.crankworx.com. People have been playing this all year long. They've been winning trips to each and every Crankworx round. So, of course, I've been playing it myself. I like to think I have a bit of knowledge. It doesn't seem to be translating in this game, but you go on, you have your budget, select your team. Chose a few people here for today, you know, chose Josh Carlson, a few other individuals like that as my pick because they've done well here in the past. Brad, we know you like playing it because you let us know on a regular basis. Guys, just so you know,
yeah, I'm
leading the unofficial Crankworx staff poll.
It was a fluke, man. I'll tell you right now, it was a fluke for me because I've not done that well since then. But the cool thing about fantasy.crankworx.com is the coolest thing about this, too, it's not just one big prize. There's daily prizes, too, you can win. So you can pick your best enduro team. You can pick your best slope style team. You can pick your pump track team. And if you think you got the knowledge, then you can make things happen. All right. Now, you and I, speaking of picks, there's one guy that you've been talking about ever since I got here this morning. And who is that guy?
Well, I mean, you kind of have to pick the guy by the name of Jesse Melamed. Down here, he's been feeling the stress all week long. He got 2nd here last year. We've seen so many things happen for this kid over the years. We've seen him leading before. We've seen him get mechanicals. But he's down there with Chris Ball, hanging out right now. They're getting the checkout. This is them leaving this morning. This is way earlier, so they got jackets on. It was a lot cooler. It had just rained. And nerves were at all-time high. But, of course, 2016 was the year for Jesse Melamed. He's gotten stage wins before, and he put down an absolute scorcher, leading all day long, coming into that final stage, putting down the power. And he is a small guy, and that was the biggest track of the day. So he came down. He said he had a flawless ride all day long, just collapsing there at the finish line. Family and friends just cheering him on. I mean, this is the most special thing here. This kid's born and raised. And, of course, as you can see here from Instagram, if my bike and body hold together, today will be a good day. Let's dance, Crankzilla.
Oh, well, let's take a look at the results from stage 4 as we get set for stage 5. How are things shaping up for the man that you have been talking about? How's he doing?
Well, look at that too bad. Right there. That is your stage overall right there. 35 minutes, 59 seconds. So he has pulled some time on Sam Hill. He was half a second behind going into stage 4. And look at that. 14 seconds up on Sam Hill. Jesse Melamed leading going into that final stage, Brad. The stage is set for this.
Well, we're going to find out more because it all's coming up for you. You got stage 5. Your 5th and final stage is on the way for you. And you got to wonder, can he hold on? Can Jesse Melamed be the winner? Can he make it happen?
He can hold on. We know he's dealt with it before. It's all up to him. If the body and the bike are together, he is going to bring it home.
Nicely done, Tristan. All right, well, it's coming up, man. Don't go anywhere. Grab yourself a cold frosty kokanee because it's coming up. Stage 5, it's on the way, man.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are, or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Mountain biking and the places it's taken us and the people it's allowed us to meet, it's helped shape us outside of the bike.
At this point, it's something that's shaped my whole life.
There's nothing that beats it. It just gets better.
He's the Patty Young.
And Crankworx Whistler brought to you by SRAM. Range to realize. That's SRAM. Well, it's an amazing day. We had the wet stuff, the rain coming down, but as you can see, the sun is shining on us right now. We're getting some sun.
We're getting some sun. We're getting, technically, the first dry Enduro World Series. The driest one of the year. As much as it did rain, it's been the Enduro Wet Series all year long. It's rained out at 5 of the 6 previous rounds here. It did technically rain right before the one in Aspen. Did technically rain before here, but it's pretty much the driest. I'll put that on record right there compared to everything else. So,
but it didn't look like it was going to be that way this morning when you woke up. You saw the wet stuff. You're thinking, oh, no, here we go again.
No, not even last night, pedaling home from dinner at 10 o'clock. It was raining a little bit, and I was like, no, it's right on cue. It's not supposed to happen this way.
All right, so Specialized, of course, bringing it to you, Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. And you had a chance to catch up with someone from Specialized yesterday. Who was that you talked to?
I was hanging out with my man, Patty Young. He's one of the mechanics down there for Curtis Keene and the Specialized Enduro team.
Shall we listen in on how that went with you and Patty Young?
Yeah, I had some questions to ask him. He was giving me some insight on a few things of how they get their bikes set up here and how they tackle this 57K, of course.
All right, well, Tristan with Patty Young, hard-hitting questions right here with Specialized.
Guys, down here in the pits right now with Patty Young. He is Curtis Keene's mechanic here for the Specialized team. And of course, the biggest thing, the thing that changes probably the most is tire option and selection come race day. You guys have a few different things that the guys can run depending on the conditions. How do you guys come across what they should have? What do they need to get through a full successful day of racing?
Well, I guess throughout the season, I mean, the guys have been working with the tyre team back in Morgan Hill to really narrow down what they want as a race tyre. You know, the compounds, is it soft, is it medium, is it firm, different sidewalls, making sure we choose the best option for, I guess, the day.
And talk to me about this tyre right here, because this is kind of the go-to that they've been using throughout most of the Enduro World Series this year.
Definitely, I think both, even Jared and Curtis, they're running a Butcher 2.6, definitely running more of the 2-ply sidewall, so it's more orientated towards a downhill tire, and they're both running a T, well, what we call a soft compound up front. So, I mean, they both choose the front tire the same for this weekend, and again, the back tire, they might mix it up, but I guess the Butcher 2.6 is their go-to for this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, Whistler is such a unique terrain, as you guys can see here today. It is rough, it is rocky, it's been dry, there's a chance of rain, so of course having the kind of dual tire is the most important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the chance of rain's on the horizon, so the night before we're always making sure we watch that radar, but definitely think that softer compound is going to be our choice because there might be a bit of moisture around. So.
Well, we want to thank you for your time. Of course, we want to wish these two guys the best of luck while they're out here racing all day. Again, it's Crankzilla, and it's here in the Enduro World Series.
Oh, that was kind of nice. Got a little insight right there. And one of the Specialized riders we want to talk about, of course, is Jared Graves. And Jared Graves, an amazing rider all the way through. And we love to talk about Jared Graves, spend a little time on what he's all about. Look at him this morning getting ready to head out there on the first stage.
He did have some nerves, obviously 10th overall. He was the winner back in 2014. So he tamed the beast and he had overcome a lot of obstacles that day. The flash colors there, always looking good, always standing out. This season maybe hasn't necessarily gone to plan. He's had some really strong points, getting third at the last round, so he has got some confidence coming here into this final round.
Yeah, and, you know, and you look at fourth in Portugal, the round 3 out there, the 6th in Tasmania too. So Jared Graves is on point, and he has been on point for a first of a few different stops. But unfortunately, things didn't quite go that way, and you can see right here by the Instagram of Jared Graves.
Yeah, I mean, that is the one thing. He is so honest with what's going on. He dropped his chain super high up. He was pumping along. He knew what to do, especially he's the master at top of the world. We've seen him do that. The chain got caught, tore his rear derailleur off, and that was it. I saw him on the scoring and timing. I was looking, I'm like, why is he way over here on the map, Brad? Why is he going in the opposite direction as everybody else? And that is a tough way to end an entire week of training 3 or 4 minutes in.
Well, and you see the hashtag gutted, hashtag hungrier than ever. And we wish him well. The final stop, he'll see if he can come back and be strong on that one and get a good finish. Well, talking about some of the amateurs who are out there, they've already been taken to this course, and they've been charging it pretty much all day long. And let's check in with Hannah Bernard, who's standing by with one of the amateurs. Hannah, who do you got with you?
Thank you very much, Brad. Yes, before we get to the pro women and pro men in stage number 5, I have a guy that's finished all 5 stages. This is David Maude. He's living in Whistler right now, local guy. I want to know a little bit, can you give us a little bit of insight into all 5 stages now that you've completed this grueling race here today?
Yeah, I mean, this was a super hard event. I'm pretty stoked just to have finished today. I found stage 4 pretty natural. It's a bit like Australian conditions, so I was pretty happy with that. It was the only stage really that we had that was sort of hadn't changed a lot over the course of like practice. It was quite similar. Stage 1 was a nightmare. It was just twice as wet as I thought it was going to be. But you know, just such a sick experience. I've loved it. It's awesome.
And you've been a bit on the circuit this year in Tasmania and Aspen. What was the biggest difference between this round of the EWS?
I guess in Tasmania it rained all day, and today we've only had spots of rain, so that's been pretty nice change. Aspen was really tricky. Like, I wasn't used to high altitude sort of conditions, so that was really tricky with that. Had no oxygen on the top of a few stages, but no, it's just I had a really good time for every round I've done. So yeah, it's been good.
Well, big congrats on getting that finish. Now, just before we get to see the pro women and pro men come down stage number 5, give us your take on stage number 5 and what we can expect with that.
Stage 5 was pretty good. You know, it was pretty well as I expected it to be. Bike park trail, pretty rough. Yeah, no, it's not really much had changed in that with the wet conditions, so it was pretty good just to have another trail and finish on that one. It was a lot easier than some of the earlier stages in the day. So.
All right, well, David, thank you so much for taking the time, guys. That's David Maude breaking it down just before we see the pro women and pro men come down stage number 5.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And then we talk about I love what he said about snowmass. I mean, you know, the elevation is double the height that it is out here, so that's a difference that you got to make up for. You heard he was out of breath out there too as well, but getting rain all the time, the whole entire time, that made it tough. So a little bit different today with the conditions, a little bit of water that we had.
Yeah, definitely. I was in Tasmania myself, and not racing, but the rain, it was no joke. It just came down all day long. It was, the pits were flooded. Everything was flooded. I've been in Aspen before. I was there last year. And the elevation is such a killer. So, it's, you know, I think that's the coolest thing about the Enduro World Series is you have racers like this. They're amateurs. They're guys that are punching the clock, making it work throughout the year, yet they're going to a bunch of stops throughout the year. And it's a good way to go explore these new trails, this new terrain, and challenge this, you know, inner thing that we all have, which is we like to be competitive. We like to race, because we know you've got it. Mm-hmm. I see your Strava results. You're going out there.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what way you're doing it. So it's cool to see these athletes, amateur or professional, going around the world and trying their hand at lots of different venues.
Well, you got to like that about EWS because they do so many different stops in so many different places. It really mixes it up to be in all the different places. Well, we're moving Hannah all over the place. Now we just send her over to the SRAM tent right now to catch up with Duncan Riffle. Let's send it down to Hannah Bernard with more. Hannah.
Hey, thanks very much, guys. Well, I've made my way over to the SRAM tent here at the base of Whistler Bike Park in all the action for the Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized, and I have Duncan Riffle here of the SRAM team here to break it down for us a little bit. So talk about this week. You've been obviously here offering support to both amateur and pro athletes, but talk about some of the support that you are offering to athletes this week.
Yeah, so we're obviously focusing this first week on our EWS athletes. We do a ton of consumer interaction here all throughout the week at Crankworx, trying to help people get their product up and running. But like I said, our big focus is the EWS this week for the amazing race that's happening. We have some of our high-level athletes here, and we really want to take care of them. We focus on that, and you know, they make a lot of product requests for such a demanding course such as that we have here at Crankworx. Specifically, you know, I would say the biggest things they come over for are suspension changes, just because there's a lot more, you know, steep and demanding terrain with big holes, varying terrain all day long, from top of the world to over in Creekside. There's all the stages are different, so they're going to come in here and ask for a lot of requests, you know, to be made on their suspension. We like to accommodate for that. You know, on top of that, they also would come in and ask for a lot of brake requests because, you know, like I said, there's long, demanding race courses out there. So some of those specific requests that they would make, you know, for our suspension, for example, we have what's called a bottomless token, which you can add more or less air volume into your front and rear suspension to make it more progressive, more capable to handle those big holes in that rough terrain. some things that we do for the brakes. You know, a lot of main requests they come in for is maybe a larger rotor, you know, to handle and be more capable for that heat dissipation for the longer runs, more demanding courses out there. So those are a lot of the big things. There's also wheel changes that we can make. We really like to provide as much support as we possibly can to take care of our athletes.
There you have it. Duncan Riffle of the SRAM team breaking it down for us here at the Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
You talk about Duncan, and you brought up Strava. Follow Duncan Riffle on Strava. That man is always crushing so many miles. Well, let's talk about the tech side of things real quick, Tristan. I mean, changes, you've got to adjust your bike for where you're competing. You're coming out here to Whistler. What kind of changes do you make?
Well, obviously, Duncan touched on a bunch of things. You can put more air tokens in your fork to ramp up the compression just due to the hard hits, the long stages, the bigger rotors on the bike there to handle the long descents, especially that ride, don't slide stage. It's something that the guys aren't used to. So they're changing their setup to adapt to the course. As we saw, even with tires earlier on, you have to change each and every round. Some riders change a lot. Some riders, they just run the same setup all year long.
Interesting stuff. Well, the fourth member of our team, Rick McLaughlin, we sent him out to get tech and talk to some of the riders, and this is how it played out.
Okay, we're talking today about beefing up for Whistler, so just how long and physical these stages are. Have you made any bike changes at all?
Yeah, I went to a 180 fork, 200 rotors, front and rear. Went a little shorter stem. It's a big weekend out here, and it's gonna get really gnarly. I'm probably gonna go put double Magic Marys on front and rear because it's just stages are insane. You think you're like, oh yeah, I'm cruising down, and then 2 minutes into it, you're like, we have 8 minutes to go on the first stage of the day. Holy crap!
At the moment, it's pretty much the same. I think the suspension's a little bit stiffer just for like the bike park kind of stuff. But I know the first round it's kind of I softened it up a bit just because. All the rolly, all the like loose dirt, it's hard to get traction. So, no, bike's pretty much like it is normally.
The stages here are super, super long, and like obviously physical upper body strength's really important. Do you think this really plays to your advantage this weekend?
Yeah, I kind of like the style of tracks, and I hope just like my hands kind of can handle it all. 'Cause I think that's like the biggest factor, just kind of not having your hands fall apart, and you kind of you can have problems out of that.
I just changed some parts. I put a new shocks on my bike to be faster on this kind of stage. Yeah, I think it's better for the longer stage. It's more smooth and more comfortable.
I actually am racing a completely different bike than Aspen.
Are you?
Yeah.
Just completely different in terms of what?
So in Aspen I raced the Force that GT makes, which is it's 160 mil in the front and 150 in the back. And then I chose the Sanction for Whistler, which is 170 and then 165 in the rear.
So have you changed anything on your bike at all to adapt to the bike park, or?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing?
Nothing.
Tires wise, what are you running then? Because obviously very, very dry and dusty here.
Yeah, I never change my tires. When it's wet or dry, I keep all the time the same.
And a shiny new bike.
I know, I'm so stoked to ride it. And I'm glad it's not raining. It gets a bit dust on, but that's fine.
Are you actually stoked to ride it, or do you want to keep it quite nice?
I want to keep it quite nice. So if it's raining on Sunday, sorry, I can't come.
That's good stuff out of Rick McLaughlin right there, EWS, catching up with some of the riders out there. I like Cecile's response to that. No changes, and she's been doing a lot of winning.
Like I said, she runs what she brung. She's got that. She seems to be working. She's undefeated so far today, as we saw in that overall right there. So, and she's been having a great season all year long, Brad.
So we have this guy standing right next to us right now. This is Specialized rider Keegan Wright in the house. Keegan, what's up, man? Shouldn't you be out there? What's going on?
Yeah, I should be, but unfortunately the Specialized crew didn't have the best of luck out there today, and yeah, we were put on the sidelines. But no, it's been awesome watching the races carry on, and yeah, even though we didn't have the best of luck, it's still good times.
Well, when it comes down to it, that's part of racing too as well. You never know what you're going to get. It could be a good day for you, could be a bad day for you.
For sure, that's why we love racing, isn't it? If everything went everyone's way, it wouldn't be that exciting. So no, it's always good and keeps everything interesting.
Well, that's it. Normally we see you out on the pump track, though. I mean, that's where we saw. Yeah. You're the pump track master. How excited are you? Because you've still got that later this week, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've still got a long week to go, and I'm just
game
looking
face.
forward. Oh, here we go.
Boy, you were game face right there. There was no smile. Yeah. And then this is you racing Adrian Larone in pump track.
It's probably like the scariest 10 seconds of my life. It's just like, ah.
Well, when you go against a guy like Adrian Larone like that, you really have to focus, don't you?
Oh, for sure. You know, like pump tracks, it can come down to like a nail bite of a second. So you just got to be on your game, and everyone's always so fast out there. So you just got to go out and give it your all, and yeah, whoever's got that little bit on that day, they'll get it. But yeah, it's such a fun, such a fun event to do.
Boy, that was you were so pumped on that one, getting that big win out there, and you could tell that he wasn't quite happy with you ending up taking him out.
Nah, for sure. But yeah, he's had enough wins.
He's had enough wins.
Yeah.
Keegan's already called it. He's had enough wins.
He got one yesterday. He's got one yesterday.
Yeah. So it's our turn. We got to win something.
Okay. All right. I got it. All right. Well, you're going to be competing in pump track out here this week too, as well.
Yeah, for sure. Doing the pump and dual slalom and all the downhill events. So just looking forward to having a bit of a chill, no more enduro for the week, and just chill out and do some fun events. And it should be good.
So pump track, of course, is going to be Thursday night. So that's going to be pretty fun to get that going, right?
Yeah, for sure. I can't wait to get out there, and it's always a good vibe here because it's on the hill, everyone can see, and it's just all around good fun, and looks like they got a good course laid out, and should be a good week.
Well, you mentioned some of the downhill events. Let's talk about some of the first one that we're talking about here. That's Fox Air D8s right there. You can see right there. That's going to be Wednesday for you.
Yeah, like you said, Fox Air DH, that's probably the best race of the year. Down the iconic A-line trail there. I mean, Keegan, you probably been smashing laps like that all week.
Yeah, for sure. It's fun track just to ride on the downhill bike or trail bike. And yeah, it's definitely the track to go to when you come to Whistler and pop out a few runs of the boys.
Well, we've talked a lot about all the different events out here, and there's a whole slew of them. But let's kind of focus back on Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. Let's talk about the women that we're going to be seeing out. We're going to see 10 of the top women coming down this course here in Stage 5 after they've already competed in 4 stages already. These are the women that we're going to be looking at here coming down for stage number 5, the 10 ladies we're talking about here.
Well, as you can see, Ray Morrison there, one of your fellow Kiwis as well. And then Becky Cook, she's been doing quite well. Caroline Garrig, strong season there by her. So those are the 5 ladies that we're going to be seeing right off the back here. And then, of course, after that, we're getting down into the pointy end of that. Isabeau Courdurier, Ines Toma, Katie Winton, and, of course, Cecile Ravenel. You've seen her at these races all year long. She's been on a tear.
Yeah, it's crazy watching her ride. Like, we're walking up the track when she's coming down, and you look at her and you think it's like Johan or someone coming past how fast she rips down that track. Like, yeah, she's insane to watch. And
well,
Keegan,
we want to thank you for hanging with us. We appreciate that. Good luck on the rest of the events for you. We look forward to watching your ride.
Look forward to being there. Have a good one, eh?
All right. Cheers. Well, speaking of Cecile, let's talk about Cecile for just a little bit because she has been having an amazing year all the way through. You look at what she's done. She's been absolutely crushing it with 5 #1 finishes this year on the EWS.
Well, yeah, like you said, she's only been defeated once here. That was by Isabeau in the rainy Tasmania race. But she just has this knack. As you saw, she doesn't change anything on her bike. The setup that she ran in round 1 in New Zealand is the same setup that she is running here. And I think the biggest thing is she's so smart, her line choice. And then, of course, so if you've got to think way back in the day, her first ever Enduro World Series win was here in Whistler. She said it was the most meaningful win of her career. This is somebody that's raced XC World Cups, has raced all over the year, Brad, and decides to say that, you know what, Enduro is where it's at, and Whistler is the most important thing to win. So she won the title last year. She's been going for it here this year again.
Well, and just look what she's done. When someone like that, a caliber rider like that, says that about Whistler, it shows how important it is. And then you look at her stats and what she's done, like 5 #1s and a #2 this year. Wow, so she has been on fire. And we had a chance to have Rick McLaughlin from EWS catch up with Cecile, and this is what she had to say.
Lot of oil and some roots.
I couldn't hear
physical stage.
I couldn't hear you, right?
And I felt really dizzy when we entered into right on side, so I calmed down a little bit. And then I said, okay, let's ride as fast as I can with what I have. And then, yeah, I did not crash, so which is good, I think.
Well, taking a look at things right now, how it's been stacking up for the one who's just been a crusher on the EWS. There you go. No surprises there, Tristan, right?
Yeah, that's the overall. And that was showing some of the stage one there, down, ride, don't slide, the longest stage. Only the 2 ladies under that 20-minute mark, that being Isabeau and Cecile. So such a long, demanding stage. And speaking about Isabeau.
Let's talk about Isabeau right now, because she's been solid all year too as well.
Yeah, she has had a strong one. Obviously, we saw her in New Zealand. She pulled out due to illness, and then she has been on a tear. She got her first Enduro World Series win there at round number 2 in Tasmania. And then she's just been floating around. She has been dealing with some health issues and sickness, but she's been getting stronger and stronger. And the thing with her is she's on a custom bike. She is a lot shorter than you realize in real life. And this girl, though, has so much heart, so much style, so much demanding skills on it. And we saw her last year starting getting her first stage wins, and she is starting to get to the point where she's going to be challenging for those overall wins week in, week out.
Well, and you look at what she's done. Once again, she had, like you said, she did not start in New Zealand, but she came back in the next one, a first place, 3 second places. So you know she can challenge Cecile Ravenel for sure. And this is what we heard from her on Instagram.
Yeah, and as you can say, you know, she was only the person to dethrone Cecile Ravenel this year. And that is a huge, huge point. And of course, sitting 22 seconds back after stage number 1 of racing there. So she is going to be giving it her all here today. And sometimes, though, she is the first to admit she just doesn't have the power to compete with Cecile.
Well, she will have the power. Let's take a look at Cork and let's find out where our women are on this course right now as we wait for them to come on down here and get their final 5th stage. Taking a look at this. Break it down for us, Tristan.
Well, looking like right there, they are all up on top. So you're seeing the names as they're starting to drop in. Cecile back there over by the Raven's Nest, kind of warming up. But you can see a bunch of the girls closer to that. So where it's condensed, that's where the start line is. And then you can see as we're working our way down the track, that's where the ladies are. So they're catching each other there. Pajot as well, straight. We got Anita Gregg, Sharp. So you see all the ladies, Miranda Miller as well, as they are dropping in. So if they're starting to get really close, it means that somebody's having a bad day and they're getting caught, or they're about to pass somebody.
Well, that's the amazing stuff about Cork and what EWS brings to the table. You get those live results. You can watch them right there. I got up this morning and started watching things first thing in the morning to see where all the competitors were when they were going out on the first stage. Well, first stage, second stage, third stage, fourth stage, all those are in the books, man. We're talking about the 5th and final stage. It is all coming up for your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
Mountain biking and the places it's taken us and the people it's allowed us to meet, it's helped shape us outside of the bike.
At this point, it's something that's shaped my whole life.
There's nothing that beats it. It just gets better.
Crankworx Whistler brought to you by Kokanee. Glacier Fresh Beer. That's Kokanee. Well, the sun beating down. Boy, I tell you what, if you took a look at this morning, you wouldn't know this was happening. There was absolutely no visibility this morning to start stage 1 off. But today, right now, in the evening times, we get set for stage number 5 coming your way. Weather has sure changed.
It couldn't be a better day. And like I said, the riders have been dealing with rain all year long. They keep talking about the Enduro Wet Series, and it's sunny out right now, and it's just setting the stage for the next 8 days, Brad.
Well, it's an 8-day festival, and that's what we do. And this, of course, is our second broadcast of the festival. And if you missed our first one, Well, that was all about the dual speed in style, their Cliff dual speed in style that took place yesterday. And I really don't want to let the cat out of the bag. I want to show you some of the highlights, the sights and sounds from our man, Cam McCall. This is yesterday. Take a look.
After 3 action-packed stops of the Crankworx World Tour, we find ourselves here for the finals where it all began, Whistler, British Columbia. Of course, we started things off with dual speed and style. The bronze medal round saw Mitch Rapalato going up against Daryl Brown. Mitch Rapalato opting for the hardtail at the Whistler event. We've seen him on the trail bike all season, but looks to be comfy on that thing, dropping a foot off on the 360. Daryl Brown, of course, doing that classic backflip tuck no-hander, linking it up with smooth style and speed enough to hang with racers like Mitch Rapalato. The 360 tuck no-hander, no surprises there, but this was the differentiating factor on the course right here. These flat slalom turns, both riders handling it with ease, but Daryl Brown to be the one walking away with the bronze medal. In the finals, it was Thomas Slavic going up against Adrian Larone. Slavic playing toward his strengths, basically racing the course with just little tricks. Adrian Larone, on the other hand, stepping outside of his comfort zone, doing backflip tuck no-handers, which is something we haven't seen him do all season. Head-to-head racing, they met up to the second jump at the same time, but once again, Adrian Larone adding a little flair on there with the 360 tabletop. Head-to-head racing, almost misengaged for both riders, but once all was said and done and the numbers were crunched, Adrian Larone finally walked away with his first gold in dual speed style.
Oh, well, and you got to give it up for Adrian Larone. First off, that was his first ever win in dual speed and style. He went out, he learned tricks. He not only learned backflips, but he comboed things up as well. Congratulations, Adrian Larone, winning that, but also what that did for Adrian Larone is that extended his lead for the king of Crankworx. Now, he's not the favorite on some of the DH races, but we'll see how that plays out for him. But having a commanding lead going into this, that's pretty solid stuff. Now, of course, stage number 1 that we talk about starts at Top of the World, and you spent some time up there. I've been up there a few times myself. How special is Top of the World?
It's just such a unique place, and that's where we started the day here for all of our athletes. Of course, we've seen in the past where that's where they end their day from Top of the World down in the village. Today, they started it up there. And it is such a beast in its own. I've been searching through social media, looking at live timing all day long, and some interesting facts that I saw as the racers were going down into Ride Don't Slide. Things that were happening. Cecile Ravenel was racing without goggles there. She'd taken them off. I don't know if that was due to some sweat issues or what was going on with that. And again, we've got this beautiful scenic view here. Bunch of the Whistler bike team riders there.
Well, you talk about that. It is a beautiful place. You've never been up there. You got to get up there. But let's take a look at some of stage 1 through the POV view here. This is insane.
This is Rick dropping in way up top. So, of course, things that happened up top here today would be what happened to Jared Graves with his mechanical. Again, his chain coming off. He was trying to pump his way down, where then he'd be able to put it back down, conserve some time. But, of course, had some issues with that. Marco Osborne and Justin Love crashed twice as well. Keegan, as we had him up here, was talking about his flat tire. One unique thing that happened to our guy who's second place overall in the Enduro World Series, Adrian Daly, he didn't lose a cleat out of his shoe, but his cleat shifted around in his shoe, so he couldn't unclip. So he got down to the end of the stage, he had to take his foot out of his shoe, and he was trying to figure out how, which I've seen this happen. It is really next to impossible to try and get your clipless pedal to open up to release your shoe so that you can put it back, which he almost then missed the start time for stage number 2. So I'm guessing he was feeling a little bit stressed, but multiple crashes. But guys like Jerome Clements, he is Mr. Consistent when it comes to that stage alone. He's doing really well up there. You can just see, look at all these lines, Brad. And again, it did rain a little bit last night. This is from earlier this week, but very similar conditions. Huge, huge holes, testing the arms the whole way down.
Well, and you talk about, being clipped in or not being clipped in. Sam Hill does it on flats. Why does he do it on flats and does some of the other guys clip in?
Well, you don't change what's not broken, and he's run flat pedals always and forever, and that's what he is known for. I think a lot of people kind of doubted at the start of the year, like, you're not going to run, like, what are those? You're not going to run those. That's not part of the dress code here in the Enduro World Series, but you know what? He's making it work at each and every round, and I think for him on a day like today, it gives him a little bit more ability to kind of get light on the edge of the pedal, take a foot off if he's about to lose his bounce, move things around. So it works for his style, and Curtis Keene has said it many times. Once you quit using flat pedals, you can never go back to flat pedals efficiently. You can never make that transition back to them. So for Sam, it works.
Yeah, well, it's worked so good. It's worked through 6 solid stops, rounds of the EWS. So let's look at some of the guys we're going to be seeing come down here in stage number 5. Wow, I like the looks of that list right there.
Well, this is it. It's our top 30. Of course, the first guy we're going to see, Josh Carlson. Heartbreak from 2 years ago.
Oh, that was a rough one for him.
Redeeming himself last year with a podium. We got Johan Borelli in there, Cody Kelly, the style master himself. Win Masters, not at a World Cup downhill, but changing it up. And then guys like Justin Leov, I mean, he was leading the Enduro World Series a few years ago, came into this round, slipped out on the first stage, blew out his shoulder, and he just hasn't been able to regain his form. We'll have to see what he's doing here overall today. Again, Thomas Lapierre leading a round earlier this year. And then, of course, Mark Scott, Joe Barnes, Jared Graves, we know, is retired here today due to a mechanical. Jesse Melamed, I think somebody's been talking about that name all week long
that would be you.
Since last year. And then, of course, we get down into the top guys, and it is going in order of the overall standings in the Enduro World Series. So Sam Hill, last guy to drop in, he's leading. Adrian Daly, Greg Callahan, he was leading earlier this year. He's trying to get back up in that overall. And, of course, Martin Mays, he's sniffed close around to the podium before here, so he's going to want to try and get back up there. And, of course, our man,
Brett
everybody's
Tippy.
favorite, Brett Tippy out there getting the sniper shots of the Sam Hill, dropping into the steeps here. And, again, this is on that section. Again, it's a trifecta of Rockwork Orange, Korova Milk Bar, and then down into Wizard Burial Ground. And Sam, after stage 1, this guy always has a sandwich on him. I've been to 4 of the rounds this year, and he's always got a sandwich packed into somewhere and let it be into his underneath his jersey there in a little backpack or in a little fanny pack there. He's always got sandwiches on him, so maybe that's the trick to staying fueled up. He's going to have to definitely fuel up before that final stage after losing a fair bit of time there on stage 4 to Jesse Melamed. But I'm sure Jesse, I don't want to think what's going through his mind right now as he's uploading there to get up to the top of stage 5, because if he knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. You can't get away and live in Whistler, it'd be your home race, and not know what's happening right now.
Oh, definitely. He's got his finger on the pulse, 100%. Also, somebody who has their finger on the pulse, we always check in with her from time to time. And let's check back in. Third member of our team, it's Hannah Bernard standing by. Hannah, what's going on?
Hey, thank you very much, Brad. Well, just before we get into the pro women and pro men, I want to talk about a little initiative that's going on down here at the finish crawl. And I have digital marketing manager for GT. I have Andrew Cho here. So, Andrew, your story is so absolutely incredible. Can you give us a little rundown of your incredible story that's happened to you this last year?
Yeah, so on January 6th, I had a blood vessel that burst in my neck, and I was paralyzed from the neck down. And with the support of the bike world, friends and family, I've been able to get back on my feet. And actually yesterday I ran my first half marathon. So it's been a bit of a year.
It's been pretty incredible with your story, and now you're using your voice to make a difference. So talk a little bit about what's going on today down at the finish line.
So today we're here doing shirts off our back, and we're actually collecting jerseys off the riders to raise money for concussion research. So how you can get involved is on Monday we'll be launching an auction site, and you can auction for your favorite rider's jersey.
And talk about where the funds are going to go and what a difference that they're going to make.
So the funds are going to 3 foundations: BC Brain Injury Alliance, Brain Injury Canada, and International Brain Injury Foundation. And all the proceeds will go towards concussion research.
Well, it's an amazing thing that Crankworx has done here at Crankworx Whistler to raise funds for concussion research. Guys, big round of applause for Andrew Cho and Crankworx for putting this initiative together here at the EWS.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Yeah, Andrew Cho, he is definitely an inspiration. He's doing it for the right cause. And if you don't know anything about this, just go and check the hashtag #GotChoBack. #GotChoBack right there, and you can completely be updated on what he's went through. And it's been absolutely amazing to watch him come back. Well, it's time to get an on-course update with Jesse and Sam, who are out there, and they're battling it out. Let's take a look at what went down. Take a look.
I was really trying to be positive and like, I'm not gonna get on pump, it's gonna be okay. But nah. For me, the most frustrating thing, because people are out there cheering my name, and I'm like, I want to go, but I can't go. I'm happy. Stage 1 could have been worse, for sure.
few nerves at the top, and top of the world's not the easiest trail to start off on. It's not a stage you can ride flat out, that's for sure. So just tried to keep the speed that I felt like I was pushing, but it's super hard to know what other people are doing. That's the hard one out of the way. So a few good stages, bit of a techie one coming up now. Keep pushing.
Oh, you got to like that, catching up with the boys out there. Well, it's all about, you know, a lot of different things when it comes to social media, and Facebook is another way you could be connected with Crankworx. That's right, because Crankworx, they have a Facebook page, Tristan.
You got to like it. I stay up to date with it on a regular basis, and I'm working with them. You're working with them. There's so much happening. You kind of have to make sure each piece of social media is linked up to your social media, so that way you see what's going on. You see the recap videos. You see each and everything that's going on all day long here.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, you know, along with Crankworx.com, Facebook is definitely a way to stay updated. And you look at 14 years of Crankworx, and we didn't have all those bells and whistles back in the day. There was no broadcast either. It's a big thing now, and you can stay connected all the way through.
Okay, Dad, okay. Well, you didn't have it back in the day. You couldn't stay collected there.
Tell you what.
But what staying connected is we got a little shot of some hecklers there. They're getting in position to stay connected with what's going on.
Well, we did have a little bit of issues of trying to get a bunch of the riders to the top. There's some chairlift issues that kind of put us behind, so that's why we've been a little bit behind, but that's all sorted out. We've got the riders to the top, so we're going to be seeing some racing coming down here in just a moment.
Yeah, I mean, delays are inevitable with that type of thing, so the racers are going to be getting up there. I feel bad for them because they're getting stressed. For the fans, it's almost like the intensity is building, the weight is getting more and more, but of course for the riders, they're like, I'm just trying to get up. I know a bunch of them were texting like, hey, I'm just hanging out on the chairlift right now. Are we going to get moving here? Like, I got a start time. So that's different from yesterday. When we had the Challenger Enduro, you have a relaxed time period. You don't have to be dropping in at a specific time. You're given a time period to drop in with. All of our athletes, you are given a time, and you have to be there. And if you miss that, you are penalized a big time.
Indeed you are. Well, if you're stuck on a chairlift, that's not your fault right there. So no one is going to lose anything on that. Well, right now, I think it's about time that we check back down with Hannah Bernarci standing by with our current hot seat person from the ladies' side of things. Hannah, who do you got with you over there?
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Well, I got the lady that's sitting in the hot seat right now. She just finished this grueling day on the bike. You got to tell me, how were all 5 stages for you?
Oh, they were really tough. Long day, pretty tough stages, technical, physical. You have to put all you have in each one. So.
Grueling day. Congratulations. It's good to have you here in the hot seat. Can you tell us what stage was maybe giving you the most trouble out there today?
Oh, the first one, because it was the longest. So when you were getting to the last part, your arms were like, oh my God, I can feel them. So that was pretty hard.
And did you have a favorite stage?
Yeah, I like this stage. Yeah, I knew it pretty well, and I could go fast, so I have a great time.
The last one was your favorite, maybe because it was at the end, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I have the ladies sitting here in the hot seat before we see the rest of the pro women's coming down in stage number 5.
Oh, thank you so much, Hannah, checking in right there. And you look at that, what she says, stage number 5, the best, her favorite. Why is it because it's the end and you know your day is almost done?
I think it's because it's the end, you know your day is done. At the same time, too, it is the bike park stage, so it's a little more manicured. You know what's coming up. It doesn't change a lot, where a lot of the trails throughout town, they do change with each and every passing tire, each and every rider that gets down there. So I think there's just comfort in the bike park, despite knowing how brutally hard it's going to be, how it just feels like your hand and a hammer is just getting smashed against it with every rock, with every berm, with every braking bump. Your hands are sore, and you know what? Like, you just want to get down to the bottom, either put your hands in ice, wrap it around a cold beverage, whatever works best.
What were you saying? I think I was talking to you about it, about the calluses, that some of the riders will get such big calluses. How do they deal with that? You told me something pretty cool here.
Yeah, well, I mean, some riders, they have to, they do some manicuring to the calluses. They, maybe take a set of wire cutters and trim them down a bit, or take a razor and cut them off, because if they get too big, they get a little uncomfortable. So some people need to do that, I guess. Goodness. I mean, it's kind of, I personally don't, but some people do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, it is all coming up for you. We're excited to bring it to you. We had just a slight delay, but you know what? That delay is pretty much a done deal now, because we got the women. And what we've done, they're stacked and racked, and they're ready to drop in here at the final stage. You know, they're probably going, This is it. This is the one. This is the big money, and this is how you get done and make it happen. Well, the women, they're ready to go. Stay with us. Don't go away, because it's stage number 5, the 5th and final stage here. Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
We're trying to make a drivetrain that works better. We're trying to improve upon the things that we had done.
Introducing the all-new SRAM GX Eagle drivetrain. No matter what kind of rider you are or the kind of terrain you might ride, Eagle is simply the best. GX Eagle drivetrains have a range of gears that rival or flat out beat most 2x systems. Engineered in Germany, made for the world. This is GX Eagle.
Mountain biking and the places it's taken us and the people it's allowed us to meet, it's helped shape us outside of the bike.
At this point, it's something that's shaped my whole life.
There's nothing that beats it. It just gets better.
Well, it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty here. Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. The wait is no longer with us, and it's time to start watching these riders come down in our 5th and final stage. Tristan Merrick and Brad J with the call, and we're going to go right on course with one of our riders right now.
Yeah, this is only about 20 seconds into that final stage of the day. Down upper part of No Joke there. You got the drop, you're cruising along the ridgeline. From this angle, looks really nice, Brad. Looks very scenic. If you were to get a picture from it, you'd want to be sharing it on social media. But no, this is a race, and they are battling their way down. Looking like we got Raywin Morrison here from the Giant team, a.k.a. the Liv team as well, which is a female brand. And no, that is not her, actually. That is maybe trying to figure out with the number plate here who we got, but they're coming in to drop in Clinic. That is Becky Cook coming in. So again, that's that vertical drop in. You can hip to the left or you can stand the pedals to the right there. Something tells me we're not going to see a lot of style off that jump.
So that's Becky Cook as she makes her way down. Now we go back and look for Noga. We got Noga Corum now on course. There's a good look at her coming in that same section now.
Yeah, Noga kind of storming the scene this year. This is her first year on the Enduro World Series, XC background, and she has been making her name known. She showed up on her own program. I know Giant Bikes kind of taking it under the wing there with the Liv brand. Got herself a podium earlier this year as well, Brad. So she came out really strong. The flames kind of cooled down a little bit recently here, so I don't know if the rigors of each and every round, but again, especially when you're coming from that's one of the Garrick sisters actually right there. One of the Garrick sisters coming down. They got the twins there battling out. They've been having a strong campaign this year, keeping it low off that. You don't want to catch too much air as they're cruising through there. And again, this is just all our upper section. It's so hard, so difficult to kind of bring it along here. But that section right there, so fast through there.
Yeah, Carolyn Garrig is who we're talking about right here. As keeping track of these women coming down. There's a look at her right there. Florencia Espiniera, 47.2 is the time for her. So as we can see right now, Carolyn Garrig doing her thing on this course here. The women on course, the men soon to follow after that.
Yeah, as they're working their way along that ridgeline right there. Again, the ladies dropping in fast and furious. We saw Anita there, a veteran on the tour, has really been kind of getting a bit of steam here this year. She's been battling for podiums. We're seeing Isabeau Cadorier there. She has been the one to watch. Again, the only one to dethrone Cecile Ravenel this year. Just the size of her makes that drop-in Clinic roll there look massive.
It does look massive.
I think she maybe let out a little hoot there or holler as she's going down. That's not something that they're used to on the Enduro World Series. Is this manicured, bike park stages. And then, of course, right there you can see her blasting along in Toma. Yeah, and we heard her earlier on. She's got that new bike. She didn't want to get it dirty. She wanted the dust. I think she got her wish a little bit here. So Innes battling on. Again, she was having some health issues as well earlier this year. I think she was dealing with a little bit of virus, not feeling 100% each and every round. But again, we're seeing the first split time there on the bottom. So the girls pushing on, trying to get down here, trying to make it happen.
And now it's time to take a look at Katie Winton under the top section here, stage number 5, as we will see Katie Winton come into view here. Thanks for joining us here. Round number 7 at EWS. Katie Winton, 24 years old, out of Great Britain, doing it in a big way for Trek Factory Racing.
Yeah, Katie Winton, another one of the XC, convicts that has switched over, decided to get on that long travel bike and has been trying to figure out how to make this work. And she may not have any podiums this year, but her consistency is what's really bringing her up. Or does she have one podium
Oh,
there?
she does.
She does have one podium. Sorry, she was kind of hovering around outside of it there, but the consistency is what is helping her here.
And taking a look at our Quark right now, showing you all the women on course. Here's a look at them right here. Good stuff right there, keeping updated with all on Quark right there. Good stuff, keeping them up.
See Miranda Miller's up there earlier on. Again, waiting for our ladies to come into view here as they're battling out, making this happen.
When you look at what Katie, we were talking about Katie, a second place. She did have a second on the 4-stop, a couple of 3 5s too. So 3 top 5 finishes, 4 top 5 finishes for her.
Yep, she's also had 2 stage wins earlier this year, Brad. She's got 9 second place stage results as well. So looking for her to start really getting stronger and stronger here. She said the biggest thing is being able to adapt and trying to figure out how she has to do, how hard she has to push, and getting comfortable with that. Like we said, she got second at round number 4, and she's up right now, so she's finding some time. We know she's on the 29er there, so it's good maximum rolling efficiency here in the bike park. And we were talking, she was here earlier this year because she's from over in the UK. She'd finished a race. She was kind of looking for, where do I have a little bit of a training home base? She decided to come hang out here, hanging out with the McSkimming clan there, trying to do a little bit of bike riding, doing some tuning races here, just, maybe enjoying that young lifestyle that we have here in Whistler, having a bit of fun.
You can see where Katie Winton is at. But now let's talk about, you got to talk about Cecile Ravenel, because she's the one who's been dropping bombs all season long. Here's what she had to say here.
Well, race day, hope it didn't rain too much. The thing is, it hasn't affected her this year. Rain or not, she's only been defeated once. So we know it's rained out of 5 of 6 races. The only race that she did lose at was pouring rain, but otherwise she has won each and every race. So
yeah, 5 wins out of 6, and her only not win was a second place. So you got to expect Cecile Ravenel, 36 years old, the flying French woman right there, to be able to do something in a big way and maybe come away with the overall win and the win on stage 5.
Well, she's won here in Whistler before. That was her first ever win. It was the most important win of her career. And the thing is, she's not slowing down. We know, talking to her, interviewing her the other day, she loves Whistler. When she loves someplace, she is going to be battling it out. She is going to be laying it all on the line. The only time I see her move faster than on the bike is when it's time to pop that champagne on the podium and have a sip of that sweetness after a long, hard day at work. So you can see she actually rode to the right of that drop there. She didn't do the big drop there, so maybe playing it smart, trying to keep those wheels on the ground, spinning along right there. And as Keegan said earlier on, you look at her style, all the team riders on that team, Johan Borelli, her husband Cedric, they all have sort of the same kit. So sometimes you can see noticeable speed over Katie Winton right there. It's hard to decipher, like, who is it? Who's coming down here? So charging down that.
And you see on the right is the bottom section, and on the right is the bottom section, on the left is the top section that we're looking at.
And she had a mistake there. That was a hip jump. She didn't go straight off the jump. She didn't hip it properly. She kind of got hooked up sideways. And now you can see this is the entrance into Afternoon Delight. You're like, yes, I'm down in the 5th zone. You're no longer in the Garba zone. You're excited about that. But this trail, the rock face coming in, and like I talked about earlier, take your hand. It feels like it's been hit with a hammer. So Cook getting past right there.
It looks like we got Noga right now. There's been an overtake on there. So yep. Noga is what we're looking at.
So Noga, again, we were talking about her earlier this year. She has been so strong at each and every round. She's currently sitting 7th overall. Of course, She's got a few different results here. That 14th, the 4th, the 3rd, round 3 in Madeira. That was the breakout ride there on her live bicycle. She's coming down. And what I want to talk about though down here, you can see this section right here, extremely difficult. She makes it look easy. What we were watching earlier on today with some of our amateurs, I don't want to say we were cringing, but we were a little uncomfortable.
We were
Noga
cringing.
coming down here. You can see though she's 7 seconds behind ALN there. ALN hasn't been at each and every round, but Noga coming through. She's got that last little section. As much as only 5 stages, we were talking 300 different trails in the valley. She's coming down into that trail called Monkey Hands right at the very bottom there.
But this is when you're feeling good. You're feeling good because now you see the bottom. You know you're close. You know your day is almost done at this point. So taking a look at our Quark on the side right over here on our right side. That's Quark keeping you updated on where the riders are as they make their way down this course right here.
Yeah, we are seeing that. Noga down here in the Monkey Hands. You can see, though, the time ticking along there. ALN there. Cross the line with 9 minutes. So that's our benchmark right now in this 5th and final stage, Brad, for our ladies. Well, outside of that right now, but she's, again, it's the long game.
Yeah, she's not going to be in touch on this one. Let's take it back up top and see if we can get a look at Isabeau now and see how she's doing as she makes her way down there. Plus 7.73. She's off on that. And that's the section that Tristan's talking about right there. We've seen people go down in a big way. Line choice is so paramount right there.
Yeah, looking a little awkward as she came into camera view there. I don't know if she came out of the woods a little bit awkward. Again, you can't fault a rider for sitting down a little bit, just having a bit of a breather here today after so much racing. And looking at that clock, though, looking like she's very in touch with things. Getting that speed tuck down there. She's coming again, the French-born rider. She is from the south of France, so she loves the dry conditions. That's kind of why maybe she struggled a little bit. Camera view on the left there, one of the Garrick sisters as they're coming in, which means we're probably going to get caught there. Their girls are catching up. ALN on the podium there, not doing the full tour, but she has been crushing it at each and every round that she's been at here this year.
And sitting in that hot seat right now, enjoying her time. You got to wonder, what can Isabeau do?
Coming in, she's looking smooth through that final section, so it's ticking on. She's got about 20 seconds. She needs to get across that finish line if she wants to get into that hot seat here and take the overall here for the stage.
Oh, here we go.
Look at the rhythm.
She looks like she's in touch right now. Isabeau Cordurier, can she do it? 9:03, the time she's trying to beat. Check the time, 8:56, 8:9. Number 1 right there on the stage 5 right now. You got to wonder, where does that put her overall for Cordurier? Wow.
Shaking the hands out, shaking the hands out. You can see the results.
Look at that.
Boom.
All the way to number 1, a second on stage 1, a second on 2, second on 3, third on 4, and then coming out number 1 right now. So Cordurier done for the day. She can only sit and wait. Now we'll take a look and see if we can catch up with Katie Winton now towards the bottom of this section here. Your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. The men coming up right after we finish here with the women.
I don't care about the guys. The race is right now here with our ladies, Brad. They are crushing it. They're trading the war stories. What happened? What happened here? What happened there? The look at ALN's face kind of makes me think that something happened to Isabeau maybe in that final section. Here we go, Katie Winton right here coming through. And that's one thing that the racers love about Whistler. There is fans on each and every foot of this trail cheering people on, coming down in. This is the last little bit of afternoon delay. So again, it's hard left-hand corner in here. And some big, sharp rocks.
Oh, man.
So you think you're almost home free, but things can go along.
Spiders all
She's
over
just
the place.
coasting along, and then this is the final move that she has to get through, down through this section. Everybody's watching on, getting a little nervous. She's not letting it go too much down there. She's looking pretty smooth. We're waiting for her to come out of the woods here. Did she get stalled up? Maybe she got stalled up on that final corner, so we're seeing that 8-minute mark.
Yeah,
she's a hair out, but she can make this time back if she was pedals down. She's got that XC background. Isabeau is kind of coasting a little bit through here.
You also see her getting the strokes in as you're talking about, Tristan. She's getting those pedal strokes in, trying to see if she can get back in touch with that.
Getting the speed tuck, so she's getting down low behind the handlebars. But again, monkey hands, there's that one last little bit. You got to get full up to speed. You got to get through it. And it's got to be hard for Isabeau. She's sitting there on the podium going, you know what? My day is done, but I'm almost probably even more nervous right now because I'm leading, and it's going to last. She got the thumbs up. That's what I love about her. She's always having fun. But look at Katie. She's hauling some speed out there.
Nice.
getting that back tire smacking the tree on the way out, letting it know what's up.
Well, it all comes down to this right now. She makes her way down towards the bottom. Here she is right here, Katie Whitten. Can she get in touch with this one? What is she going to do here on stage number 5? There's the time. She's off on that one. She comes across. The time is going to put her in that second spot on stage number 5. Not enough to take over. Isabeau right there in. She's not enough to get that stage win. Isabeau still on that hot seat right now.
It's the overall, though. The overall, that's where we're waiting.
Now we've got to take a look at Cecile Ravenel because you have to talk about her. What a season she is having, Tristan.
Look at the aggression as she comes in there, getting onto that bench, not throwing any pedal strokes along there. But again, you could just tell from the spacing right now, she's on one. Look at the clock there, only 7.5 minutes. So she's almost probably 20 seconds up, I would say, from what we've already seen there. And it's looking like maybe a couple of our riders getting hung up out of the woods. Again, though, the bike looking, there's air in the tires. That's the most important thing. That would be the worst at this point.
Oh,
and look at that, almost
wow.
10 seconds up right now on that final split for this. Again, this is stage 5 only time. We're going to have to wait for that overall when she gets down there. Not as much of a tuck, throwing in a few pedal strokes. I mean, I think Katie was really moving quick along that bottom section right there.
You got to wonder, is she gassed at this point? You got to think after 5 stages, you're definitely gassed by the time you get down here towards the bottom section of the 5th and final stage. Cecile Ravenel, there's Isabeau right there, the overall leader on all the stages right now. Will she be able to hold on to that spot, or will Cecile Ravenel take it away?
Yeah, Cecile there rounding out the corners. You could hear her breathing deep there. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing. These athletes trying to keep that heart rate low, trying to keep on the pedals down through the rhythm section here. This is difficult. This is not what they're used to.
Hey, wait a minute. Look at the time here on stage 5. Stage 5, can she do it? She's going to take it on stage number 5, 8:45, 54 by 11. But what does that put her for the overall? Here we go. Survey says first, and first all the way to number 1. Cecile Ravenel, total stage domination here at Crankworx. Wow, for your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized. My goodness, let's check in with Hannah Bernard and see if we can get a word with the winded Cecile Ravenel.
First place is a pretty comfortable spot for you, Cecile. Tell us about the gold medal race here today on your bike.
Well, it was pretty hard to start the day with the top of the hole to ride on slide. With the rain of this night, I feel like a god when I ride on slide. But when I saw my time, I was happy and confident for the rest of the day.
Absolute domination all year long. How do you keep on top? What is it? What is your secret?
Here it's the best race of the year. For sure, I arrive with full confidence, and I want really won this race. This is a secret.
Were you happy to have a little bit of sunshine on the EWS this time?
Yeah, of course, for sure. The best weather of the season, maybe.
Well, congratulations, guys. Your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized, gold medalist for the pro women, Cecile Ravenel.
Man, what can't she do? Just look at this. 6 first place wins and a second place out of 7 rounds of the EWS.
Just, over a minute margin as well there, Brad. Total stage domination. She's done that a few times. Nobody's done that in the men. So Cecile is the lady that is rewriting the history book each and every time. But, of course, Isabeau and Katie, congratulations to round out that podium as well. Because strong ride from the ladies there, trying to beat the reigning champion.
I like what she said. What a way to start with stage number 1. That is a gnarly way to get things going, man.
She's always the first to make sure that she is hydrating up afterwards. I've noticed that from Cecile. She's first down. And you can see, though,
look what we have here. So the men on course right now with our corks showing you where the guys are. So now we switch the gears from the women, and we focus now on the men. How are things stacking up? How's it looking, Tristan?
Josh Carlson, Remy Absalon, Johan Borelli win Masters, like Joe Nation, Robin Wellner up there, Florian Nicolai. So you've got all of our racers out there. Johan, he's been having a pretty strong day. He's been trying to refine that form from a few years ago. We'll have to see what happens when he gets down. But the number 10, Josh Carlson, that's what I'm excited about. He hasn't had the great season, but he is the guy that has been on the podium before here, Brad. He's had heartbreak, but he's also podiumed here.
Well, was it the year that he won 3 stages and then he had the mechanical, or how did that go for him? I'm just trying to remember that.
Yeah, unfortunately, he was leading. It was pretty much a shoo-in until that final stage. And he is the top one on that course time there. We're going to have to see if he's going to be coming into view on us here again. Afternoon delight. If you've ridden the Whistler Bike Park, you know what's going on. You've ridden this before.
Yeah, well,
it's rough, it's tumble, it's not easy. You can see a bit of slickness. And there you go, Josh Carlson coming into view right there. He knows he's almost home free. He knows he's getting near the bottom. He's been putting in his laps. You can practice the bike park as much as you want. Okay, so getting kicked out on the spider roots right there. Unclipping, so then it loses a little bit of your focus. You have to kind of get back on the pedals. Again, though, you can't pedal much through here. You're just trying to conserve your speed because, again, rock slippery. You're taking a hard left out of that camera view, coming in here, and there's no smooth line. Going wide. Oh, no!
Carlson.
Catching up on the bank there. Josh Carlson going down within camera view, within sight of the bottom. Hopefully he has made up enough time here, so coming down, and you know he's pushing. If he's making mistakes, a guy of this caliber is pushing to try and get down. Again, you got 3rd place last year. You don't want to finish off the podium the next year.
No, and you know what? He wants to get on top of that podium. The guy is a great competitor all the way, but with that fall right there, he's definitely going to be out of touch. We wish him the best on the final stage, but right now, Josh Carlson's going to be out of touch.
Yeah, not his day right there, unfortunately. But let's get back up the top because somebody else is coming into view, somebody else we want to talk about.
Well, let's take our attention back up top for our next rider to come into play for your men's here in your Canadian Open Enduro, presented by Specialized. A beautiful sunny day now. Boy, I tell you, it wasn't earlier there. Thomas Lapierre, 27 from France. Can he challenge right now?
Yep. He's Isabeau's teammate. He's a guy earlier this year, kind of out of the blue, was leading the Madeira round of the EWS. Kind of surprised there. Unfortunately, had a mechanical, but he is trying to attack for a top 10 position here today. If he can bring it all together, if he can make it down safely. Tall Frenchman. That headshot, some unique style there. He's got the Kiwi headband on there. He's kind of got the bleached Mr. Noodle hair as well there. So different style. And again, putting in the pedal strokes through that upper section.
And you can see on the right, we have the bottom section of the course that we're looking at. On the left, that is the upper section. So if you're wondering how that's looking, that is how it's playing out right now.
Well, we got Loke Dog, Johan Borelli coming in right now. This is a guy who calls this place home. He's probably the loudest, the funniest guy out there. He's always making noise. If you don't follow him on Instagram, check him out, Tuto Tuesday. Lots is going on. And again, he has done well here. He's podiumed here in the past. He knows how to put it together. Again, monkey hands, just another lap that he'd be doing in the bike park. So as long as he's taking it with that mindful approach, that it's just another day on the bike, he's going to do well. See him smash the corners here at the bottom. Coming out, trying to stay in that top 10. Maybe he might be able to attack up into a top 5 overall position here.
Yeah, keep in mind that he is in the top 10 right now.
Look at the speed. Look at the speed as he's coming in.
So Blanky has a 7:45.35. That's the time on stage 5. So third right there for stage 5 for Johan Borelli. But what does that mean for him for our overall? Look at that. There you go. He is in that top spot right now. 2 12s, a 17th, a 4th, and a 3rd on stage number 5, Tristan. Well, let's make our way up top to our current reigning champion. Will be coming up next. There's a look on the left side of your screen, our upper section.
It's kind of weird to say it, reigning champion, but he is coming down earlier than he would like, but Robin Wallner floating through.
And he's been having a good day too as well.
He has been having a great day. He's been having a great year as well there. He DNF'd at the round 1, but then a 12th, an 8th, a 6th, and 9th. So again, he's been using consistency. Mark Scott, though, this guy is in our view. He was sitting in 3rd after stage number 4. Not really in touch with the top 2 contenders, but he has been pushing hard. And there we got Joe Barnes. Another guy, he would probably have preferred it to be pouring wet here because he loves that technical type of terrain, the dry, high-speed stuff. Maybe not his forte. But He would have been loving ride, don't slide here, Brad. He would have loved it. And you can see he's in touch there up top, only half a second back at that first split.
Good look at Joe Barnes there. Now we look over here. What do we got? Is that Jared Graves?
Again, in our bottom section here as they're coming in, who do we got? Looking like Joe Nation right there on the Bergamot. He's pedaling, so getting some good rhythm. Again, the spider roots in there, very difficult. They are polished. They're polished like a bowling alley floor, so super slippery. You can see him getting sucked in a little bit.
Oh, that's a tough
Going a
one.
little bit wide, and now coming down into this section. That's where Josh had his issue getting caught up on the bank there.
Joe Barnes.
This is Joe Nation coming down into here right now. So again, braking early, getting to the inside, keeping it nice and smooth down through there. And then you have to control your speed and then get right back on the pedals. Getting the sprint down across the road, getting the snake down through the barricade there. You don't want to hit one of those cedar fences. That would just be a bad end of the day. I could see if it did happen, why it would happen, because you'd be so gassed. But the Kiwi Joe Nation, he's been having a strong campaign all year long here.
So Joe Nation, as he makes his way down to the bottom, now you know there's a big relief in sight for Joe as he looks towards the bottom. You can see right there our Quark showing you where all the riders are for the men right now. There's a look at Melamed. You see where he's at on course.
He's hanging out up top. So if you're looking at where they're at there, you can see Hill and Melamed not anywhere close to each other. So I don't blame him a little bit. He's probably trying to get into the zone, trying to psych himself up.
You see that? Joe Nation, well, Sam Blanky, he's got the 7:45.35 on stage number 5, and Joe Nation's going to come across the time. He's going to check it in the 5th spot on stage 5 for Joe Nation. Well, let's see if we can get a word with our current leader. Let's send things down to Hannah Bernard and catching up with our current leader. Hannah.
Thanks very much, guys. All right, Johan, tell me most difficult part of the day on your bike.
I think everything was hard. Stage 1 was, well, probably one of the hardest days we ever had so far in the EWS. But yeah, all day was really hard. Like the trail changed a lot, and but yeah, it was just so good to ride here, and the crowd was good, and the vibe was good. I prepared the race really well. I walked most of the stages, and I really wanted to do well, and that's probably going to be the best result of my season so far. So yeah, I'm stoked for that, and congrats to everyone that finished, and congrats to everyone that was here to race, and I'm stoked. Cool.
Well, enjoy the hot seat for now. Yeah. Congratulations for finishing all the stages. Guys, Johan Morelli sitting on the hot seat right now at the Enduro presented by Specialized.
Well, and you see what they're all saying. It's the same thing. Stage 1, the hardest stage to start an EWS with.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was no easy feat. I think if they were happy it was at the end, would have been fine. Look at this textbook Euro style right there. So grabbing the front brake, getting the back end kicked around, so then straightening things out. If you're doing that, it means you've probably ridden a few French tracks, the walking trails. That is what that's all about. Kind of looking up, having a cruise down there. So maybe knowing today is not the day. Our rider, though, cruising down. One of the B&H riders there.
Yeah, you know, no pedal strokes out of Borges right there. So definitely going to be out of the mix for him. Not going to push it too hard. Just trying to finish things.
And here we go. Looking like we got one of the Rocky riders right there cruising through. So we got some overtaking going on. Remy Gauvin coming in right there. One of the Rocky Mountain BP riders, one of the local guys from Squamish. He's been on a tear all year long. His mechanic, I know Jeff probably hanging out at the bottom, nervously waiting for his 2 riders to come down there. So Remy looking like he's in. Well, he's up. He is up right now, Brad, on this final stage. So he's making up some time in that overall.
And he knows he's in touch because he's getting those strokes in too. Look at that, just pedaling fury right now.
Getting an 8th at the last round in Aspen, a 9th earlier on this year in Tasmania. So top 10 results are in his arsenal. One of the great kids. Again, Johan there making faces. I don't know how Johan would feel if he's getting knocked out. We've got Thomas Lapierre right there. He's going through that final shot as he comes down into the view of that finish line. And there we go, Remy coming in. So looking like we're gonna maybe have a little bit of cat and mouse right now.
Just sucking it up right there. Lapierre Look at the time in there. That's going to be an 8:07. That's 15th right there.
And Remy coming through the line quick there, shaking his head.
Lot of overtaking. Remy Govin right there. Time a 7:43.19, number 1 spot on stage number 5. What does that do for the overall for Remy? Well, let's show you. Take a look at this right here. 8, 7, 11, 15, and 1. Number 1 spot for Remy. Take over that hot seat, sir. It belongs to you right now.
So Remy Govin there. His day is done. He's sitting in that hot seat. He knows, though, there's a lot of fast riders still to come. We keep seeing from the live data there. Riders hanging out up top. They're pedaling around. They're waiting for it. Jesse Melamed up next, Brad. What can you say about this guy?
Well, second place last year. Jesse has been on point. He's just, not so much on all the stops, but you know what? This is a chance for him to get back to where he wants to be. Barely missed the top spot last year, but finished in second. Be really good to get a win out here for him.
Yeah, Remy's mechanic right there. Jeff congratulating him. But again, Jesse, you got to feel the weight of the world. These two guys, they're on the same team. They're dropping in right after each other there. So Jesse, we can see him up top there. The nerves I have, I can only imagine the nerves he has. I don't even know what to really say about what's going on with him. It's the final stage, Jesse. You know what you need to do, buddy. You know what you need to do to bring it together. Oh, there is dirt on that left shoulder there, and he is back. That split time shows he is back, Brad, and I do not know what happened here.
Yeah, you see it.
What is going on? Okay, so he's pedaling like he's almost in too easy of a gear, which I don't want to make a comment on maybe what's going on there, but did not look
Well, you saw, like
good.
you said, you pointed out the dirt you saw on that left shoulder, so you got to wonder. But I think we could check in with Hannah Bernard with an update on Mark Scott. Hannah, what's going on down there?
Hey guys, yeah, I just wanted to let you know while you were focusing on some of the riders coming down in the top section, Mark Scott actually stepped into that number 1 spot. He is our current leader, so we'll be seeing him come down here shortly. So just wanted to let everyone know that Mark Scott is now our new leader.
So Mark Scott, thank you so much, Hannah. Mark Scott has done it right now. Cannot hold up. Some heavy hitters still to come, but Mark Scott will go over to that hot seat and just sit down and relax over here at your Canadian Open Enduros presented by Specialized.
So Mark, the biggest thing, he was 3rd overall coming into this final stage here. Rocking the aerodynamic Rat Boy haircut right there. Smooth off the sides, letting the heat out on the side there. And we got Damien Otten right now. His turn as he's working his way through the top there. As far as I know, he's got some brand new wheels underneath him here this week. Da Vinci hooking up. Different line right there, so smoothing things out, going out wide.
He's in touch, though. 1.57 out.
Yeah, that is not a lot of time he can be making that back. He's coming in, drop-in clinic there. Staying low, getting on the pedal strokes as he's coming along there. So again, we're not seeing many people left up top there. If Damien's dropping in, there's not too many more going on there. So Theo Galli, one of his teammates as well, he will be dropping in.
That's our look at our lower section here on the right. Now we go back up top here as more of our riders are coming down. The 5th and final stage here, round 7 of your EWS here. Crankworx, Theo Galli, 27 years old. The French rider doing it for Da Vinci Global Racing. Theo Galli, we'll see what he could do out here today.
Got 5th earlier this year at a rainy round in France. So, of course, he knows how to dry that. But it's, again, dry conditions here today, Brad.
Hey, let's send it down to Hannah Bernard and get a word with Mark Scott, our current leader. Hannah?
Yes, guys, I'm standing here with the Canadian boy of Mark Scott. Now, you had a really good day on the bike, really strong performance in all 5 stages. What was it that worked for you today?
No, I've been riding well all season. I just had some bad luck, and today it just came together.
What stage gave you the most trouble? Give us a little bit of insight into some of the stages.
No real trouble, just stage 4. I had a little lie down on that one, so I lost a bit of time. But yeah, it was a great course out there, it was sweet.
And tell us, did you have any crashes on the course here today?
Just stage 4, like I said. One of the steep, dusty, blown out turns, just lost the front wheel.
All right, well, congratulations. You're currently sitting in the hot seat, guys. You have Mark Scott down here at the finish line.
Well, you heard Mark Scott say right there that he did go down on one of them, so we'll see if that can hold up, because you got to be near perfect to beat the caliber of riding we're seeing out here today, Tristan.
Yeah, I mean, mistakes can happen, and like we said, he probably just had a little tip over there on 4. Again, the corners were pretty tight and dusty on that I know when I did my little course preview the other day, I had issues. So let's have,
Take a
Mark
look.
having a little chill there.
Yeah, he looks pretty relaxed after 5 stages. There's Melamed right there on our Quark right there, showing you where he's at.
Again, the unknown right now. When we saw him last come into view there, Brad, he had a bit of dust on his shoulder, so we don't know what happened. There's a good margin, though. It doesn't look like he's getting caught. So whatever's happened, he's still making his way down. Damian Otten hasn't caught him, neither is Theo Galley or anything like that. But until he comes into that final bottom view, I don't want to speculate on anything.
No.
We just have to make observations of what we saw.
Yeah.
That dust could have been from an earlier stage here today. It could have been at any point throughout the day.
Well,
Maybe he had something.
He was parallel with Crabapple Hits when we just looked at him on the Quark right now. So we'll see where that's going to put him towards the bottom and see if that crash makes a difference. Or was it a crash, or was it earlier in the day like you said? So now we go back on course right now. The men taking to it right now. Mark Scott, your overall leader here in the Canadian Open Enduro.
Yeah, another one of the Rocky Mountain riders right there. Looking like Florian Nicolai, possibly.
And you see those strokes all the way through. And you see the little wetness from the rain right there in that little, on the left-hand side. You can see the dampness on the course. That's from the rain that we had overnight.
Yeah, the tackiness there. And Mark Scott looking at probably some of the numbers that he put in there today, how many calories he burnt. Means he can know how many beverages to have at the end of the day.
Well, Mark Scott right there, he's doing what he needs to do. All we can do, it's a waiting game. It's one of those things, Tristan, when you're in the hot seat, you can't do anything about it. You're there, and everyone else is still coming down. What do you do?
Well, and you want to be in the hot seat, but then you get nervous when you're there. So it's really difficult feelings right there.
Jesse Melamed, second place last year, 25 years old, doing it for Rocky Mountain Urge BP. This man can get it done. And he said the thing about what he's been saying is that, the crowd has been cheering for him every single stage. He's got people yelling. He feels the pressure. Well, will he rise to the occasion?
Yeah, and he's looking smooth right there. This guy was leading the Madeira round in the Enduro World Series earlier this year, so he has dealt with the pressure before. He knows what's happened. Getting a little loose there. This is what his style is known for. Attacking the whole way down. You can see the top time. That's his. The bottom time of Richie Rude. That is the next split coming in. So Jesse coming in, slowing it down nice and smooth. Again, this is the last really big technical section. You got to think, just keep it smooth, Jesse. Keep it on 2 wheels. Bring it home there, buddy.
Yeah, here we go right now. Let's see. This is the tough part right here.
So he's looking really controlled.
Nice.
Normally, he would be the kind of guy that would just let off and get loose through there. So we're starting to see some maturity from him. He's back from Richie's time right there. So we go through, so 15 seconds back. But again, he is not battling Richie Rude. He is battling Sam Hill for that win with the overall.
Yeah, you got to keep that in mind.
Getting the speed tuck right there, getting down nice and low.
Well, he was second in stage number 1. He was also second in stage number 2 as well. And then
he won stage number 2.
He won.
Yeah, he put down the law on stage number 2 there. If there was ever a stage built for him, it was that Rockwork Orange trio right there. And then again, taking, 15 plus seconds out of Sam Hill on stage number 4. So Jesse Melamed leaving it on the table right here.
Yeah, it's not about the stage 5 for him. This is the overall. So here we go. Jesse Melamed crossing. What's going to be the time here? Stage number 5, he's out of touch for that one. That's 5th place. But what does that do for the overall? He's had an absolute amazing day all day. But what is the overall going to be for Melamed right now?
He's walking off. He's trying to catch his breath. What do we got? Look at this.
Number 1 spot for Jesse Melamed right there. A 2, 1, 1, 1, and a 5 right there. That's how you do it. Can he hold on? Jesse Melamed.
Walking up, looking for the family. This is reminiscent of last year, going straight up for the hug right there. You got to feel the emotions probably just pouring out of him after a long day. And getting that second, and then just a first there. So he's wiping dirt off his shoulder, so something went wrong on that final stage there.
But maybe it was enough that he got done on the first 4 stages that could still put him in touch for the overall victory. So he'll take Mark Scott out of that hot seat, and now Jesse Melamed will go to the hot seat and sit there and see if it holds up.
Did he do enough? I mean, that is the question. 15 seconds was that margin going into this, Brad.
Yeah. Well, taking a look, we got Greg Callahan, who's going to be coming into view here in just a moment. You got Greg Callahan on the way, then Adrian Daly, then Sam Hill after that.
It's the fastest of the fastest, the best of the best. Greg Callahan leading the series earlier this year, proving that he can't just win in Ireland. He won in Madeira, taking that there. This is a guy 4 years ago that was living in a van previous to coming to Crankworx when he was doing all the tour there, living in a van. And he said when he came to Crankworx Whistler 4 years ago, he was weird. He's like, I was living in a house. I had a bed. I had facilities.
You know.
So this guy has come from humble beginnings. This is not somebody that has had the career there all the time there. So 2 seconds back. But again, he's wanting to get the season back on track here. The last 3 rounds, a 10th, and a 20th. Said he's just kind of felt a little bit flat. So this is a round where if he wants to strike, he needs to make it happen here today.
Upper section right there on the left with the lower section on the right. We're going to check in where Jerome Clements is at right now. There's a look at, there he is right there after that left hand. So he's just a few minutes out from our next camera view for Jerome Clements. We'll see where he can, see if he can come down and challenge for the top spot. But Jesse Melamed right now is holding that top spot for all 5 stages right now. Let's send it down to Hannah, see if we can get a word with Jesse. Hannah.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, I'm here with the local hero, Jesse Melamed. Guys, make some noise for your local boy here. We talked to you last year coming out with that 2nd spot. You had an amazing day on the bike. You won 3 stages today. Tell us what happened in stage number 5.
It started real bad. I had a huge crash, and I don't know if I can afford that because Sam's so close to me, but I'm happy I could get down there and give the fans a show, so it was good.
Just talk about being on home soil and having such an amazing performance.
It's crazy. Like it's frustrating a little bit because we're getting that first stage. We got so much arm pump and everyone's yelling my name, but I just can't go any faster. So sorry to anyone that I was looking slow out there.
All right. Well, a big congratulations. You are currently going up to the hot seat, so go take a seat, Jesse.
Thank you.
And you heard what Jesse said, had that crash up top, and it was a major crash that he said. So you got to think, is that not going to be enough to maybe take the overall win?
Well, I mean, where we saw him, where he had the dust on his shoulder, that was really close to the starting. That was probably within 30 seconds right there, Brad. So somewhere in that first 30 seconds, the nerves got the best of him, and he went OTB. Will it be enough? I don't know. I mean, Sam Hill, this is a guy, we don't have a ton of stats with him doing the Enduro World Series.
No.
He's obviously having a successful campaign in this first year, but is he going to have enough in this final stage, especially being a bike park stage? You know, Jesse's 5th, that's pretty darn good with a crash right there. We'll have to wait and see as each buddy drops in. Jesse's sitting down on that hot seat. Again, this is reminiscent of last year. He's sitting there. Will it be his till the end of the day?
Oh, my gosh.
That is the question. He's putting on the glasses.
What?
Jesse, just relax, man. Just relax, buddy.
Yeah, it's getting hot in here, that's for sure, right? So Florian, he's out of contention. So we'll take a look now at Jerome Clements since Florian is out of touch with that. So 11th for him. But you got to wonder, where is Jerome Clements going to be here in the mix?
Well, this guy is Mr. Consistent when it comes to this. He won the tour back in the day, and he's getting older and older. We thought he was going to retire after the end of last year, but he just keeps coming back out.
Still top 5, right?
And his consistency. That's the thing. We were chatting about it with Chris Ball the other day. He hasn't had the results where you're like, oh, man. Like, he's just up there. He's up there. But all of a sudden, you look at it, and you're like, with 2 rounds left, he's sitting top 5 in the overall. Smooth line right there.
Yeah, he's got, you know, he's got a few decent, 11th, a 17th, a 10th, a 7th, a 12th, and 11th, consistent enough to keep him in the top 5 overall on the EWS standings.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, he is just Mr. Consistent. He's been doing this game before there was the Enduro World Series. He's been doing it for such a long time, and he just enjoys riding his bike. He doesn't just leave Aspen after the round 2 weeks ago. He went and toured around BC, hanging out with a bunch of friends. He just loves riding his bike for the sake of riding his bike. You can see down there, though, Jesse getting a little interview, getting a little chit-chat. You can see that left shoulder. That's where he hit the deck. Whatever happened, that was that shoulder. But Jerome here, we'll have to see, cruising through, if he's going to be relevant of what's going on here.
Here we go right now. There's that plate 3, Jerome Clements.
So outside of that top time here for stage number 5.
Yeah, not going to do it. He's going to end up in the 14th spot on stage 5. But you know what? Like I said, any sort of good standings for him is going to help him in the overall because he is in 5th in those EWS standings after so far 7 so far.
Yeah, exactly.
See him kind of. You see Melamed kind of rubbing that left shoulder a little bit.
Jesse, let's see your fingers, dude. Put the fingers up, because that's always, that's classic Jesse right there, missing skin. Missing skin off the fingers. We know you were doing it.
Well, let's talk about Sam Hill, the man who's riding flats, 4th place, a 3rd place, a 5th place, a 2nd place, a 6th place, and a 1st place. What does that do for you? That puts you in the #1 spot for the EWS standings in his first year competing on all the stops, Tristan.
And that's it. He has been having a blast, getting to chat to him in each and every round. He's just enjoying riding his bike. He said downhill was stale for him. He likes the new venues, likes hanging out with people, and putting in the runs. So obviously, we've seen him for years. We've seen what he can do on the bike. He hasn't changed much. Again, different style. He's got the hand guards on there. A little different. Nobody else is doing that, so that way he doesn't like anything touching in his hands. And this is the danger man for our Jesse Melamed right now. So you can see him up top there. Just 3 guys left on course. Greg Callahan, Adrian Daly, Sam Hill. This is your top 3 in the overall in the Enduro World Series. And this is our last 3 men coming down the track here today that can make a difference or make or break Jesse's day.
Well, and you know, it's just like Jesse's sitting there going, oh my goodness, could this happen again? Greg Callahan right there, 26 years old, from Ireland. But Melamed just watching can do nothing now but just watch their final 3 riders as they make their way down here.
So setting up nice and wide. That's probably the best entrance into that bottom section we've seen all day. He's got the high front end there. Greg Callahan really focuses on bike setup. That way he can be really comfortable. Again, the steepness here and the roughness. Get that front end up. You can just hang your hips off the back of the bike and just open it up speed-wise.
Yeah, and he's got a #1 finish on the 3rd round. He took the #1 spot, so he knows how to get on the podium on the EWS.
Yeah, he claimed it in Madeira, and the biggest thing prior to this year is he's won 2 years in a row in his home race of Ireland, even though it's not in his backyard. That's where he lives. That's where he trains. So he has won 3 Enduro World Series. He was, like I said, sitting in the overall lead of the Enduro World Series earlier this year. He's now back in 3rd. He's going to want to make a strike up there. Again, 3 bad rounds in a row, 2 10ths and a 20th. Again, a strong result here today can help his campaign to try and take down Sam Hill and Adrian Daly in that overall when we hand out the crown at the very end of the year.
It's all about that overall, and that's what Greg Callahan trying to do something about it. Currently in 3rd in the EWS rankings. Then you got Adrian Daly coming up. He's in that 2nd spot in EWS, and then Sam Hill. But here we go, Greg Callahan right here. Getting the pedal strokes in, not going to be able to take stage 5, but where does he go? 16th place right there, stage 5. What does that do for him on the overall standings for Greg? And here we go. So just outside the top 10, 11th place for Greg Callahan right there, done. So then you look at Adrian Daly coming up, Sam Hill coming up. Jesse Melamed, all he can do is wait and watch. Will it be the year for him? Will he come and take the win? Adrian Daly coming into view.
Oh, going wide right there. So these 2 guys, they're battling out. They haven't had the best of days.
Nice.
So what is going on right now? They're 2nd and 3rd in the overall. So whoever finishes ahead of each other is going to be possibly able to leapfrog up in those standings.
Good
Adrian
line.
Daly in the first stage, what we saw here, Brad, he had his shoe issue. His cleat got jammed up in the pedal.
Yeah.
He actually had to take his foot out of the shoe. He nearly missed stage number 2. So if you miss your start time, that is not good. That's where you get penalized. That's where your day gets really bad. And you can see deep breath by Jesse there. Breathe, buddy, breathe.
You can't afford to have more time put on, especially when you're battling guys like Melamed and you're battling guys like Sam Hill. So you don't want any mistakes there. You got to make your start time as you were talking about.
Yep. And this is Adrian Daly's first dry race of the year. He has been dominating in the wet. And I know when we left France there, that was 2 rounds ago, there was a lot of talk of what's going to happen when it gets dry. Again, Nico Vulio's his mentor. This is a guy that is helping him out, trying to steer his career in the right direction mentally, so he is in the right position to be taking wins, taking titles, and dominate the sport.
Well, here we go. Adrian Daly doing what he can, airing that one out. He's on a wild one, coming across the line. That's going to be 5th place with that time, but what is that the overall? For Adrian Daly, is it enough? Is Melamed still going to be on the hot seat? Here we go. Coming in, 5th place, top 5, Adrian Daly. So he will go over Callahan right there. But Melamed, he's still on the hot seat, and there's one more to go. Who's that guy? It's Sam Hill. What? Wow.
Sam coming into that bottom section. You got to think the rough technical part of this track, he is going to be loving it. Jesse watching intently, watching each and every move. Again, Sam Hill has been on a tear all day long. He's got the flat pedals. Again, rookie season. I got to stress that. He hasn't gone through the motions. He's done a few previously, so this is his first full campaign. Last year he admitted he didn't lay it on the line enough here in Whistler, and looking like he's a little outside of Richie's time here coming down. The split is at the end of this rock shoot. Again, the
Let's
fans
see the
yelling.
line.
Oh.
Is it going to be Sam Hill? Is it going to be Jesse Melamed? Is it going to be the legend, or is it going to be the local boy?
Did Jesse do enough? We know he had that crash. He's pretty much remained flawless. So 15 seconds back there from Richie's time.
That
is, again, that stage time right there. So he's with the family. Mom's hanging out. We're going to have to wait and see Sam Hill getting the tuck in.
But they've been so close. When you see that 15 seconds, even on stage 5, that could affect him right there. Will it be enough for Melamed to take over and take that win and keep that #1 spot right now? One more guy stands between Melamed taking the victory on all stages today. Will he be the champ for your Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized, or will it be Sam Hill?
Well, Sam put 17 seconds into Jesse on stage #1. Stage #2, then Jesse repaid the favor with 5 seconds. And then that stage #4, another 15 seconds. So the clock, it's all about this. It's all about you, Brad.
Here we go. Sam Hill coming across the time for Sam Hill. That's going to be 7th, 15.52 off the top time, stage 5. But what does that mean for the overall? Does Sam Hill get it, or is it Jesse Melamed? Here we go. The time coming in right now. Your overall. Melamed is watching. Well, everybody's waiting to know where Sam Hill ends up. Is it Melamed or is it Sam Hill? Oh man, nail-biting time here at Crankworx. Sam's done what he can do. Melamed, here we go. And 2nd place, Jesse Melamed has done it. Sam Hill into 2nd place. The local boy, Jesse Melamed, takes the win on home soil here at Crankworx Whistler. Woo! Let's send it down to Hannah Bernard, get a word with our champ.
A little bit of deja vu from last year, except this time you're taking the #1 spot, Jesse. I know it's going to be hard, but try to put into words how it feels to win this on home soil.
Really good. I mean, again, today, I'm just so happy with a cleanish day. I had a big crash in the last one, but same with last year. I was just really proud of my riding, and this year's the same, and I'm thankful to Sam for making it exciting. That was a good day. I didn't want it easy, and that was down to the last minute and down to the last rider again, so I'm pumped.
It was you and Sam all day, neck and neck. How much did that rivalry kind of play into your mental game all day?
Oh, I mean, we're all friends, so it was kind of like we want each other to do well, but we're still battling, and we knew it was just me and him all day because we're finding out times, and it was really cool the way it played out. I think he had a huge lead on the first stage, and then I was like, okay, game on, and I attacked everything as hard as I could, so it just feels so good to kind of bring it back and finish strong.
Well, you're just having more and more success. What is this going to do for you going into that final round on the EWS?
Well, first I'll have a bit of a break and a relief of winning this one finally, and then, yeah, just have some fun and carry it to the last race.
Well, a big congratulations. Whistler, make some noise for your local hero, Jesse Melamed, walking away with the Canadian Open Enduro presented by Specialized.
Oh man, congratulations. Jesse Melamed, second place last year, just missed out by 7 seconds, but this year, redemption, the winner.
Full redemption, that's got to feel good. Jesse, you can tell being a little conservative right there. I would be just losing my mind with the fans there and the family. But again, strong day there, Adrian Daly, and of course Sam Hill slotting into that second position, Brad.
Boy, it doesn't get sweeter than that. You can't script it better than a Hollywood story. Second place last year, first place this year. We'll be back with more right after this.
Because fast never goes out of style. Because epic rides should actually be epic. Because steep is relative. Code was designed to deliver massive power and predictable modulation for braking control when and how you want it, on the longest descents and under the burliest loads. Better, stronger, faster.
Mountain biking and the places it's taken us and the people it's allowed us to meet, it's helped shape us outside of the bike.
At this point, it's something that's shaped my whole life.
There's nothing that beats it. It just gets better.
Crankworx Whistler, brought to you by Whistler Mountain Bike Park. Love the feeling of being truly awake. And brought to you by Dos.ca, your entertainment fix. Well, our overall leader is standing by. Sam Hill is alongside with Hannah Bernard down in the mix. Let's send it down to Hannah Bernard. Hannah?
Hey, thank you very much, guys. Yes, with the second place in today's round, we have Sam Hill currently leading the EWS series here in Whistler. So Sam, talk to us about your day on the bike. Obviously, that rivalry with Jesse was playing into it all day, but talk to us about your day.
Yeah, it's awesome. Stage 1 started off really good with a surprise win on that one, and then, yeah, stage 2, it's tough to find your flow, and done my best on every stage and rode really good, happy with my day, and yeah, Jesse was just flying today.
And let's talk about your season. It's somewhat of a rookie season with you on the circuit at every single event, and you're doing so well. You're on track to take the championship. What has it been for you with the transition over from downhill that's been clicking for you?
I've just been having a lot of fun. It's a new thing, a new motivation and excitement, and yeah, just really enjoying going to different places and riding different tracks and mixing it out here with all the top enduro boys.
Well, you're coming off a win in Aspen, and now you got a second place here. How do you feel going into the final round of the EWS?
Good. I'm happy to be leading the points and have a little bit of breathing room. So yeah, it's going to be a tough 2-day event at the finals, and I'll hopefully be able to seal the deal.
All right, well, a big congratulations on second place here today, guys. Your second place and current series leader for the EWS.
Oh man, you gotta like what he has done. What a year, full-time on the EWS, and he comes out and extends his lead just a little bit by having a good showing out here today.
Yeah, and well, he put on a show for us there, giving Jesse a challenge there off that first stage, but I mean, Jesse was on a tear all day long, and it's going to be an exciting final round later on in September for Natalie Liguri.
Well, if you like excitement, which I know you do, you like excitement, Tristan?
Yeah, from time to time. You know, my heart can't handle it all the time, but of course, Fox Air DH, that I can handle.
You can handle that one? Well, we can handle that one too. Your Fox Air DH is coming your way Wednesday. That'll be our third broadcast for you. Please join us for that one. Check your listings right there and your air times in your country and your neck of the woods. Fox Air DH coming up on Wednesday. All right, final thoughts. Tristan Merrick, break it down for me, man.
Iconic tracks, amazing venue. Of course, the 7th round of the Enduro World Series, and it left me wanting more. I wish there was a race next weekend, but we're going to have to wait for it.
That's the sad part. You got to wait again. Hey, congratulations to Sam Hill, extending his lead. Also, big props, the local boy, Jesse Melamed, taking care of business and getting that win. Second place last year? No, not this year. First place for Jesse Melamed, taking a win out here in the 7th round of your EWS World Tour. Brad J, man, I had a great time out here. Tristan Merrick, on behalf of you, Hannah Bernard, Darren Kennard, the general manager of Crankworx, hanging with us. Big ups to Specialized rider Keegan Wright, hanging with us, and of course, Rick McLaughlin of the EWS and all that he added to the show. Well, join us back. Go to crankworx.com. Check out Crankworx on Facebook, but make sure you're back with us at Fox Air D8 coming your way on Wednesday. On behalf of our entire crew, goodbye from Whistler.